They're just like so stupid. Watch this.
I have taken heat, but in fairness to me, I am a different generation than the people that are giving me heat. I'm 24 years old. I'm not in my 40s. I'm not in my 50s and older.
Oh. Obama's own website during the campaign featured a video called The Talk. It had kids talking to kids about the talk that they had to have with their parents. You know, talk to your parents about Obama and political issues. Talk to your parents. Make sure they understand.
It almost feels like a parent-child conversation, except I'm the parent and they're the child.
The President of the United States encouraging kids, some on video that couldn't have been more than 14, to presume that somehow or another they just automatically have more knowledge, wisdom, and experience and political savvy than their parents do. It is despicable. Why are we standing for it? Think back when you were 14 years old. Yeah, forget 14. You remember when you were 24 and you thought you'd never die and everybody else was just stupid? Got it? Now think about what you knew then and what you know now. Even if you had an IQ of 500 when you were a teen or 21, 24 years old, you didn't have maturity. You didn't have reason. You didn't have logic that can only come with age and experiencing life. It's just not there at 24. Not that you're an idiot, but all of a sudden, if you're over 30 years old, gee, where did I hear that? Don't trust anybody over 30. Oh, yeah, that's right, the radicals in the 60s, who are now over 30 and running everything and teaching our children. If these people can convince our kids before they have a chance to develop their senses and have their feet in cement, he has a chance to change the mindset of this nation. That's what this president and his allies are doing. That's what they're trying to do. You know what? There is a Obama supporter. I don't want to even give his name. He's a big progressive. I'm just going to call him Eric, because every time I hold up a book on this show, people go out and buy it. I'm not going to help this guy get rich. He has written a book. I'm just going to call it Eric's Book. It's sold about 8 copies nationwide. The point is not necessarily the book, but the agenda in it, because it's happening everywhere. It's propaganda. And he's got this book and this video out that are propaganda pieces. And I'm telling you, they would make Joseph Goebbels proud. The video is dedicated to the twisting of youth in America and twisting them into not good citizens but progressive zombies. Watch this.
A new generation?
A new generation
is coming to power.
I feel better about that. This is the generation he likes to call we, born between 1978 and 2000. He is aggressively trying to mold 95 million young minds into a massive, collective, progressive voting bloc. It would fundamentally transform America. Watch.
We are more globally oriented.
We're more ethnically diverse.
We're more technologically adept.
Better educated.
Less politically partisan.
And we're the first generation in American history
to inherit a nation
in decline.
Wow. More globally oriented. Stop with your patriotic nonsense, Grandma. We're building a global citizen here. There's no need for U.S. sovereignty. That's for, like, old people. You know, like people over, like, 40. Like, I mean, hello. Remember, Eric in his book, Clown Show. He's having minimal impact, but it's a pattern, and you can find it everywhere, and it's permeating our schools. It is a message that is found throughout the progressive movement, that your children are better educated. I thought our schools were breaking down. How could they be better educated? They're smarter than you, just naturally, somehow or another, smarter than you. You can't begin to understand the things that, well, they do. You're not capable. I was also moved here by the less politically partisan line that was spoken here, when absolutely every line in this abomination is partisan, leftist propaganda. Now, let's find out why they're the only generation to inherit a nation in decline. Watch this.
Some of us are losing our homes.
Our dependence on fossil fuels
has polluted our environment.
Our water is contaminated.
and our health is endangered.
Oh, boy. First of all, I hate anybody to lose their home, but could there be a reason for it? Oh, I know. Your uneducated dad, he's probably just not smart enough to hold down a job or join a union. I mean, he's probably much older than 25. And then there's the environmental hogwash. I don't know about you, but I just can't get enough of this discredited hoax. Our water is contaminated. Really, let me show you this. Hey, kids, do you know what this is? The Cuyahoga River. It's a shame that this generation is just too young to remember this fire right off Lake Erie. Yeah, that's contamination. Water so polluted it bursts into flame. How do you put it out? It's water on fire. Before you start sending your tweets, I know. It is the Cuyahoga River in Cleveland that spontaneously burst into flames, not Lake Erie. Still, let me show you this. I was reading this book the other night, and I read this and I thought, oh my gosh. This is a book called Conquering Gotham, and it's all about building the railroads and what it took and everything else. It's a fascinating book. But in the very beginning of it, it talks about they're coming over here to Manhattan on a barge. And there's this little journal entry from about 1890. It says, today all went smoothly, the ferry engines slowing as the vessel nestled expertly into the railroad dock, where the oily river, full of refuse, bits of wood, straw from barges, bottles, boxes, paper, occasionally a dead cat or dog, hideously bladder-like, its four paws stiff and indignant towards heaven, lapped at the pier. Really? You guys are the first? This is the first generation to have polluted water? The point is, our lakes, rivers, streams, virtually all waterways are much cleaner now in America than they were 20, 30, 40, 100 years ago. Fire! It's on fire! Why isn't it on fire today? Because our standards are higher. As is awareness. Companies can't just dump wastewater into supply water anymore. I mean, unless you're doing business in China, you don't do that. Nearly everything that we do now is cleaner than ever before. I'm tired. I am tired of people feeding my children this tripe, the lies. As a parent, I've got 4 kids. Aren't you a little shocked when people use our children this way? Some of these kids on this video are 10 years old. So what are you going to do? Well, it is important to know about brainwashing. Because they're brainwashing your kids. And if we lose this generation, if we don't teach them the correct principles, we will lose the republic in the next generation. I want to show you some stuff. We haven't even started. I want to show you some stuff that will hopefully shock you. And in the commercial breaks, I want you to call your friends up and say, can you turn on Glenn Beck? Can you watch this show? Watch this. And ask your kids. Get your butt in here and watch. And ask them, have they seen any of the kind of stuff that we're talking about tonight? And if so, call up your school board. Call up your principal and say, knock it off. More coming up.